What is it? Oh, yeah, that came in today. Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Everyone? Okay. Albert? Call the meeting to order tonight. It is 7:01. Adequate meeting of this notice was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by transmitting the meeting notice to the official newspapers, providing a copy of the agenda to the newspapers, and posting a copy of the agenda on Borough Hall. So everyone, if you'd rise so we can conduct the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Samantha, could you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Here.
Councilmember Doherty?
Here.
Council President Lee-Tag?
Here.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Here.
Councilmember Updike?
Here.
Councilmember Warner?
Here. Thank you. We are going to, I'm going to ask for a motion to open the public comment period. So moved. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. It's great to see so many of you in the audience and to see so many folks that came to the town hall meeting that we had on the 2 weeks ago on Saturday. So welcome back to those of you that came to that, and welcome to those for tonight's council meeting. This is the open public comment period. So we ask you, if you'd like to comment, that you introduce yourselves, give the location of your residence or business, and keep your comments to three minutes in this go around. Is it 3 minutes? It's either 5 or 3. Yeah.
It's 3 and 5.
Dan Fisher, I live at 5 Everstown and I've lived here since 1967. I'm just here tonight. I'm a member of the traffic committee, also volunteer traffic committee through the council. So we were just holding a meeting about 15 minutes ago. But I'm bringing up publicly my concerns regarding speeding and heavy truck traffic in town. I'm concerned about pedestrian safety. We have had an accident in which an individual was struck. We have also had a lot of trouble with trucks navigating in town if they are too large or too heavy. And we are facing a lot of things in the future. So we're working on this with the traffic committee, but I wanted to bring it forth that we need to be more aware. We need to be doing more. The council's doing a great job in putting this committee together. We've been successful in putting some traffic lights up that alert you to speeding. But I think we have to do more. And I did bring that up at the committee meeting. I know we're having trouble hiring police officers. There is a state police program, but I understand through Safety Director Gantner and through Michelle that it's a little bit difficult to assure that they will be here to help us at certain times. So I'm going to encourage the council to consider shared services because we need more coverage in town. I don't know what exactly that would mean. I did propose previously Holland Township because they have a pretty good sized force, and I will propose that again, but I will leave that to the powers that be to consider that thoughtfully. And I would remind everybody that we need to be really careful in town as pedestrians and as drivers. I witness things every single week. I've lived here a long time. It's changed a lot, and I just wonder what more can be done in that respect. So I know I'm preaching to the choir here because I have brought it up at the traffic committee meeting and we're all talking about that, but perhaps we can even do a little bit more as we move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wrote mine down, feel free to cut me off. Like,
Is that your name?
my name is Gina. but mine's more about the.
I got it. Wait, I have it.
Hello?
Please don't forget to introduce yourself and your address.
And I've lived up in St. Kingswood Avenue since 2001. I want to acknowledge dedication. Volunteer for the community as well as the officers who patrol our streets. My words today come from a deep concern for pedestrian safety in the town and not to create any conflict. But just to serve as a reminder, maybe a bit of education. On October 29, 2011, my 6-year-old son was struck by a truck while crossing the intersection of Harrison and Second Street. The truck was making a left-hand turn, walking on marked crosswalk, and it's a very simple story. We approached the intersection of oncoming traffic. I assessed the situation, saw that the truck was not in a position to turn, and gave my son permission to cross. I followed closely behind him, fully expecting the driver to yield the right of way as required by law, but he did not. This is me sharing the responsibility, which I think was mentioned before, as a pedestrian. I applied my responsibility on what we call shared responsibility. I was vigilant. I kept my eyes on the truck the entire time. I allowed my son to enter the crosswalk with every expectation of a driver obeying the law. Then as we crossed, the truck moved and turned. I screamed once, twice, 3 times, my hand outstretched, pleading for the driver to stop. He did not. My son turned his face toward the truck the moment it struck him, sending his small body sailing through the air until he landed face down on a storm drain, right on 2nd Street. It never occurred to me that the driver would not be issued a summons. It was clear and simple case, yet no citation was given. Instead, blame was shifted onto me for not holding my son's hand, onto my son for supposedly running into the back of the truck. No witness saw this happen, yet this was the invest officer conclusion based on a few brush marks in the snow on the back of the vehicle. The officer took just 3 photos, none of the front of the truck, none capturing the true point of impact. Instead, the location of my son's body next to the sidewalk was used to suggest that he must have walked or run into the truck himself. No consideration was given to trajectory, to force of impact, to the basic physics of how a pedestrian is thrown in the direction of a vehicle's movement. There was blame, but none for the driver. Instead of having the time and space to process the trauma of watching my child, I had become an investigator. I had to research activity specifications, pedestrian walking speeds, and trajectories, and why head wounds, known for profuse bleeding, sometimes don't. I had to file open request and issue my own summons, and through it all, I carried the weight of blame that did not belong to me. It belonged to the driver. New Jersey law is clear. NJSA 39(4)-36 states that drivers must stop and remain stopped for pedestrians in marked crosswalks. This isn't pedestrians running out in the middle of the road. This is a safe space at crosswalks. New Jersey, NJSA 39(4)-32 requires pedestrians to exercise due care, which I did. The responsibility to stop is not conditional, it is law. I was granted the right to issue a summons, but I did not follow through. That's another story. I should not have had to fight this fight alone. No parent should. The law was on my side, yet it was ignored. So how many more pedestrians must be hit before enforcement matches the law? This is just not my story alone, it's a community issue. The other resident is also sharing my story, a very similar one. She was crossing in a crosswalk at the intersection of Keenwood and Ray Street with her dog when a vehicle, again making a left-hand turn, after failing to make a full stop, struck them both. The law demands a full stop, not a rolling stop. Yet once again, the driver was not held accountable. Once again, blame was shifted onto the victim, and once again, a traumatized community member has been forced to become an investigator. Fighting for the enforcement of laws our local officer should be upholding. Again, this is not to disparage any officers. I know our officers do a great job, but sometimes mistakes are made. I have no illusion that driver behavior will change. There are many reasons drivers fail to make a full stop. It's uncomfortable, stop, jerk, go. There's pressure from cars behind them to get on and go. And they're competing with other vehicles at intersections, many of which are also failing to stop completely. Psychology, I know, plays a significant role. The reality is that drivers often get away with rolling stops or cutting in front of pedestrians, but when they don't, when a pedestrian is struck, it is the obligation of law enforcement, according to New Jersey state law, to infer that the driver was not exercising due care and to issue a summons accordingly. Vehicles must come to a complete stop at the stop bar. It's that white thing 5 feet from the crosswalk. That is the law. Drivers must yield the right of way, stop and remain stopped for pedestrians and crosswalks. The law does not say unless there is sunlit. It does not say unless the weather is bad. It does not say unless there are distractions. It does not say unless the driver just didn't see the pedestrian. Our crosswalks must be safe, our laws must be enforced, and drivers must be held accountable. I urge the council to act, not just to acknowledge the law and other safety measures that can be put in place, because it doesn't matter if laws aren't enforced, but to help ensure that it's enforced. Pedestrian safety should not be a matter of debate. It should be a matter of fact. Thank you for your.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Arden Summerody. I'm at 47 Kingwood Avenue. I was able to convince my wife to move to Frenchtown because it's a walking town. That meeting Sarge Russell sold her on the idea. I don't think it's a stretch to say the large share of Frenchtown's appeal to those prospective residents, the tourists and shoppers that visit to walk around their town. It's a crossroads and drivers must navigate it as well. We all have a place to go, but we want to get there. And so my wife was here in front of the council 2 years ago to bring up a close call at the intersection of Kingwood and Race, where a driver nearly struck her and our oldest child while crossing the street. My wife has become very cautious and apprehensive about car traffic since becoming a parent. She's not a person who frightens easily. She grew up in the former Yugoslavia during the Civil War and lived for several years in a refugee camp. She's lived and biked and walked in big cities such as Minneapolis, LA, and New York City for years. And so we thought a small town would be a safe place. So it's doubly disturbing that while she was wearing a bright orange cap and walking our 85-pound dog, Yarrow, was struck at the same intersection that she mentioned by a driver who was turning left, did not come to a complete stop at the stop sign, and complained he could not see due to glare. Still more upsetting is that despite clear video evidence showing the failure stop at the stop sign, the driver was not cited. The police report did not give a clear reason for this, other than they could quote, not conclude or confirm or deny whether she was in the marked crosswalk, and quote, conclude her failed to hear the right of way prior to impact. To be clear, my wife did not strike the vehicle struck her. The video shows the truck come to a complete stop directly on top of the crosswalk immediately after the impact, clearly indicating that's where she was when the car struck them. She did not dart out into the path of the moving vehicle mid-street, dragging our large dog with her. For those who would like to view the video of the instance themselves, I suggest you reach out to Samantha, our wonderful clerk, and to whom I apologize in advance for any additional paperwork this may cause. When I consulted a lawyer at the department, when I consulted a lawyer at the Deputy Attorney General's office, he was aghast at his failure to cite the driver despite clear violations of New Jersey law. He remarked that it was strange that the police report did not consider one, the driver was making a left-hand turn, which mandates, quote, increased caution. Two, the driver's own testimony that, quote, I may not have come to a complete stop. Three, the driver's complaint of glare triggers the requirement for additional caution in adverse conditions. And four, that when collision between the vehicle and pedestrian does occur, there should be permissive inference that the driver did not exercise due care and safety of the pedestrians. And so when I brought these matters to the attention of the Frenchtown PD, along with a simple frame-by-frame analysis of the video showing the driver never stopped, I hoped that the police report would be amended. Instead, I was told that if they were to pull over drivers for rolling through the stop sign, quote, we'd be pulling people over all day. I was even more surprised to hear that matter, not on the published agenda, discussed at the last council meeting before even receiving a formal response from the FPD. I was confused to hear the mayor comment that, quote, everyone is doing okay. Neither he nor the safety director ever contacted us to check. If they had, he would learn that my wife is suffering from a torn hip labrum and damage to her knee. Injuries that have caused nerve issues and pain and may require surgery. Worse still, the event has metastasized the anxiety she feels when watching me take our baby for a walk. It's created endless phone calls with insurers to sort the medical attention she now requires. We were heartened and touched by the outpouring of support from our Frenchtown friends, neighbors, and even strangers. What struck me in particular was how many folks shared specific stories of close calls and near misses at that same intersection. All of us spoke in horror as we recognized that had my wife been a child or an elderly person crossing, the consequences would have been grave. And so watching the meeting, I was surprised to hear the Director of Public Safety call the collision matter of shared responsibility, in spite of NJ laws, and that he would go on to suggest education of pedestrians is the town's primary strategy to address safety. The Federal Highway Administration actually says that education enforcement efforts targeting pedestrians is among the least effective methods of reducing accidents. What do they say works? Police enforcement and road design. I promise I'm almost done. Studies by the NHTSA or TSA confirm that high visibility enforcement significantly increases driver compliance. Yet year over year in Frenchtown, traffic stops are down 27% and summonses are down 37%. The result, drivers know they can ignore the rules. The department did lose an officer between those 2 years, but even with that, our working officers make less than 2 stops per day on average and only 1.23 summons per working day. In contrast to over 5 stops per day per officer in similar municipalities. This data gives substance to the frequent complaints one hears about traffic laws going ignored in town. Something I hear about as often as I hear about that, quote, it didn't used to be this way. Longer-term Frenchtownians than I tell of a time when no one dared speed for fear of an immediate ticket in town. Those days seem long gone. Even more effective than enforcement is proper infrastructure. Raise crosswalks, force complete stops, increase pedestrian visibility, and remove ambiguity about right of way. It's what we need at Race and Kingwood. It was baffling to hear Director Danner suggest removing the crosswalk measures, markings as a safety measure at the infrastructure meeting. According to NJ law, a crosswalk exists at every intersection, marked or not, and removing markings does not remove drivers' obligation to yield nor the pedestrians' right of way. Such an uninformed suggestion would only cause more harm. Perhaps it's time we step back from having a civilian in charge of the police, a civilian who lacks law enforcement powers, and bring back a senior officer who can also help our PD enforce laws within the limited resources of our budget. I will also mention the Race and Kingwood intersection is not included in the upcoming and important roadwork grants, making it even more urgent that the borough takes productive action now to begin better enforcement and implement raised crosswalks. I'll close by saying that I do not fault the rank and file of the Frenchtown Police Department, who I've written specifically to this body to support in their raising during previous contract negotiations, nor do I fault the driver for the situation. The safety of our community is not an endless resource, but a thing to be tended and renewed. We can make that renewal easier by having a police force that enforces the law and with road design that is focused on safety. We all have places to be. Let's get there.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Sylvia Boers. I live at 817 Harrison. Clearly that crosswalk is a big issue. I was almost struck with my dog at that same exact point when I was in the middle of the crosswalk. The person didn't stop coming down whatever that part of the road is called, is that still 513? Right in front of the National?
Race Street?
Yeah.
Race Street, did not stop at all, made a left-hand turn, came 6 inches to striking me and my dog. So did not see that there was a red light there. So infrastructure, yes, people meeting, people. I mean, clearly visually, there's something wrong there. That's
Thank you.
all.
Thank you. Yes,
Yes, I'm Jorge, I'm living in 10th Street. I have a really structured speech. But I have some questions, if may I, if you have time and you are really patient with my English. But first of all, I just wonder, I want to ask you, the borough members, do you have kids? When you take decisions.
this is not a time for a Q&A of the council. This is a time for public comments.
Okay, well, this is my
Okay.
point. I hope you have kids and I hope you feel you have some situation for a minute when your kids walk and play around the small, little, beautiful, inclusive town. It's terrible when these kind of things happen. It's terrible, and more when people call you to get emotional. Yes, because I'm human, fortunately, and I'm emotional and I care. Not just my kids, it's about the whole kids. And even the oldest, that's what happened at the end. So my point is, years ago, we already talked about the issues when the complex starts to building. We have so many comments about the huge trucks coming with the material, where they transit it, like it's right there, some huge trucks and just goes really, really fast on the street. We extended our worries with the borough and nothing's happened. That was years ago. And my point is this issue and when the fire, the collapse, that was an accident, yes. But we had issues for so many years. How so hard? Well, why is so difficult? But why do you want to put speed bumps? Speed bumps, that's what it does, man, speed bumps. More worrying, cameras worrying about the speed limit. How so hard is that? It's years and years and years. That's why my question about the kids is because I think you must be parent, not necessary, but you must to feel that worry, to really take decisions about the community safety. So my point is, if the world, maybe you don't have time, we have the bridge right now, right? And the complex before, so I guess there's a big budget, so that maybe that's a big time. It's too much time to put attention, the world put attention in the big projects, big money. This is not really about the big money. I don't think it's about the budget. Always the pretext is budget, we need more tourism. Maybe this group, or maybe why don't support, why the world don't support the civilian people, the organization people. Don't worry, you have, and I know you're volunteers, so nobody can push you. We must be, thank you for what you do. Thank you, absolutely, thank you for your time. But maybe need more arms, no? And what I know, there is a group, the safety group, the Frenchtown safety, right? Safety street, yeah. Why don't we have another arm, civilian arm? And help to find solutions? Why everything must be, no, because it was no, because the law, because. And that just haven't happened when we have the Frenchtown, how many years was the Frenchtown ambassadors? Nobody knows who is in charge of the river. And I don't know if it's now you know who's in charge of the river. Put the announcements, don't read, don't blah, 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 yeah, but indeed, nobody knows who's in charge of the river. Because you need more arms. I think so, you need more help. And I think this is a small town, we don't talk about the New York City or this is a small town and beautiful, and just to the end, I'm sorry for extended. But at the end, I think we must remember the whole, or usual, the stories about the shootouts, stories about the disasters. So many times the story, the newspapers, whatever, always start. There was a quiet, small, and friendly town where this happened. Why we must wait to happen in this town? If we can get all together, all joy. I think it is possible. And this discussion, I hear, my oldest is now 14. Their whole life, his life, we talk about this. Be careful, the cars is so speed here, it's a small street. Why don't pumps or some people? It's not about the budget because always it's because the law, always because we don't have budget. We don't have. It's not about the budget. It's about what they really want to do, and a little homework, and make community, a real community. Know what the people say about the Frenchtown, the huge friendly community. No, it's not just say we are this kind of community. It's acting as a community. I'm sorry.
No, thank you. Thank you for your comments. And I think I can speak for everyone here to say that regardless of whether we have kids or not, we care about the members of this community, including dogs and kids and adult aged human beings. And we would welcome more hands in getting things done. So appreciate that comment. Anyone else? Hi.
Hi, I'm Maggie Cook, 20 Kingwood Ave. I would love to build on to what Jorge was just saying, also, just first and foremost, thank y'all for all that you're doing. I know it's hard to hear. I personally know how thankless sometimes local government can be. I've done a little bit of time there, but wanted to share, I know about half of you maybe were on council at the time, more than not, probably turnover has happened since then, but I've shared lots of stories of close encounters in some of the same intersections. There's one in particular that I'd like to rehash today, although the memory very much haunts me. My son was maybe about 6 years old as well, and so my daughter was like 4. And we were crossing the crosswalk by Napoli. And it was like the same situation where someone was making a left-hand turn at Ray Street in Harrison, and just there's something about that intersection that they just kind of done it. Like there's
Ray Street,
nothing-
you mean Ray Street in Kingwood?
And Kingwood,
Okay,
rather, sorry,
okay.
not Harrison, yeah. And I've like talked about this many times in public, at safety meetings, blah, 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 like. We've been having these conversations for about a decade, since like I've been living there. I live on a tight corner where like I don't check my mail at certain times of the day because most cars are over the white line and would hit me if I was in the street at my mailbox. I've always asked my kids to, rather than crossing Kingwood to get to the sidewalk. For years, I asked them to cut through the cemetery and cross 29 because there's more visibility. Like, I've done more than enough to like try to keep people safe. I've educated my kids and like make eye contact with drivers, make sure that they see you. I mean, now they're 13 and 11 and they're on their own, and I'm so nervous every time they go out. It's not just my kids, it's everybody. I've tried to cross the street standing there with my dog, like, I'm not expecting people to wait and stop at Kingwood for me because I'm not near a crosswalk. But when I am in a crosswalk and I'm approaching it very carefully and making eye contact and being very cautious, I do like, I don't wanna take I don't wanna like have to think, "Ooh, that was lucky, that went seamless," or something. Like, more often than not, it's like, whoa, slow down. And I've brought this up before, and I'm so glad that we have that 25-mile-per-hour blinking thing coming into town. But it is a problem leaving, which is also the side of the street that I live on. People really fly. And it's beyond, and we've been talking about this for a very long time. I'm so sad that that intersection is not considered like the TAP grant. I know that there's a lot of talk about, well, like, that's a county road, I don't know, like. Whatever it is, I'd love for us to be able to kind of like work through that. I count myself as one of the engaged community members that we'd love to help and not just put it on you all, but we need some leadership and we need some guidance, and we can't take a group of committed community members who've been doing this for years and years and years to see nothing more than one blinking light. That's the only thing that's happened in Kingwood since I've lived here.
I guess maybe it would be advantageous for you all to hear, because again, some were at the town hall meeting and we haven't gotten to this part of the agenda where we talk about this, but there are safety enhancements that are going on to Kingwood Avenue, including 2 enhanced pedestrian crosswalks with one of those, and I don't know if that's the photo. Yeah, there is, I don't know if it's on that photo or not. We use those aids.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, right. So if you look at that map, it will show you that there will be enhanced crosswalks on Kingwood with the, you know, when you approach a crosswalk and you press the button and the lights flash. So that will be installed on Kingwood Avenue. It has been something, to Jan's point earlier, that we've been trying to get organized and funded. And we have a grant that is that we've been able to secure to do some work also with some sidewalk connectivity up at the Ward Street. And as part of expansion of the scope of that grant, we're doing the safety features that are being installed. So that along with at the intersection that you're talking, or the crosswalk that you were speaking of Napoli to furthering along to Sitco and the bridge, that crossing space. Yeah, thank you, yeah. Right out the window, yeah. And then also up at, I think it's Ward Street. So there will be crosswalks that are much more visible. So just wanted to add that. For those, you know, we are listening and we are trying to do that. We also installed the speed devices that are tracking on every major road coming into town so that we can do constant tracking of data to see what those are, but also, okay. But also maybe we get some we have the ability to work with Go Hunter and to get some portable devices too. But the, oh, now I lost my train of thought. But so we are doing things, and maybe what would be helpful to all of the folks that aren't aware of the things that have been done, we've done, what we're working on currently, what is onboarding through the $1 million plus grants that we're waiting to be freed up through the bureaucracy associated with those federal grants, and then what we have as commitments from the New Jersey State DOT as well. So I appreciate you saying, you know, the comments that we're hearing, but we are working hard, whether it's through the Safe Streets Advisory Committee or our relationships with Go Hunterdon, to try to make Frenchtown as safe as possible for all. So, so any other comments?
The reason I'm here tonight, after a long while, was most recently I asked for some information in regards to the advisory committee, street safety committee, and Samantha was kind enough to track down some information from me, which was pretty disappointing. I found out that the committee was not about the meeting. The meeting schedule they have. The meetings don't happen all the time. There's no agenda. It's not open to public. And there is no minutes or attendance taken for this committee that belongs to all the town. Very disappointed that majority of the meetings did not happen. So I did send, as part of the Safe Street group that I'm part of, so as one of your committee members, a 3-page information to Samantha this morning at 9 a.m. And you folks are in violation of the Sunshine Act. Under the Sunshine Act, you are supposed to give advance notice, like you do with this meeting. You have to have meetings scheduled on the website, and if it's canceled, it has to be given notice. And none of these things that happen. I urge you to start doing that. And open it to the public, because the public needs to hear what's going on in these meetings. Because as you can see, there are a lot of questions. And again, as a safety group, which you folks have recognized and the county has recognized, we've been at this for about 8 years. It's time to get something done before somebody's killed. On that note, I'm going to rest, and I hope you guys listen to our advice.
Thank you for your comments.
I'll respond to that. I would like to respond to that because what you have said is legally incorrect. No, it's not. Yes, it is. And I'm not going to debate it with you. I'm going to tell you what the law is. The Traffic Safety Advisory Committee is an advisory committee. It is not a standing committee of the borough. It is not a statutory committee. It is a committee of a limited duration for the purposes of making recommendations. When you have an advisory committee,
the law, the Open Public Meetings Act does not require any of those things you said. And if you would look at section 10:4-7, it specifically says that informal or purely advisory bodies with no effective authority are not covered under the Open Public Meetings Act. So you did a very good job in all the other sections of the Open Public Meetings Act and summarizing them, but you didn't look at the first section.
So the advisory committee is supposed to meet on, not on a regular basis, whenever they want,
It's an ad hoc committee. It's ad hoc,
and
meaning
you keep no minutes, correct?
don't have to keep minutes under the law. That's what the Open Public Meetings Act requires. Otherwise, what you're doing is holding a temporary committee, a committee that is there for the mere purpose of advice or recommendations to the same standard that you are holding this body as the governing body, the planning board, or some other statutory body. And the law makes an exception for that to allow flexibility and to allow less formal proceedings. And again, I would urge you to read section, the second section of the Open Public Meetings Act, which deals with that.
I will discuss that in council, but you're telling me this is a blind committee where people will not know what's going on. But it is supposed to be for the safety of the taxpayers, correct? But it's a
The-
blind committee.
It's an
The
advisory
council-
committee.
It's an advisory committee, but the council at just about every meeting reports on what occurs in that committee and the steps that this council is taking to improve traffic safety and safety throughout the municipality. So I think you have to look at it as a whole. That committee is not held to the same standard of the sunshine law as this body is, or the planning board is, or another statutory body. But at virtually every meeting, and if not every meeting, every other meeting, there are reports given with respect to what steps the town is taking to improve safety. And the council president just spoke for several minutes on the things that are being done. So
Why not make it transparent for everybody? Why, what, is there anything to hide? Why not everybody know what's going on with their town?
You're free to attend council meetings. So,
Council meetings, I know, my concern is the safety of.
and it's all of our concern. Thank you for your comments. We're going to take the next question.
Okay, carry on.
We gave you the answer. We're not going to get into a debate. This
I'm not
is,
debating, I'm asking you, why is there no transparency?
we are adhering to the law.
Advisory committee, huh? What?
There is transparency. We're adhering to the state law. So,
there is transparency if there are reports that are given on a regular basis.
yeah. Anyone else for public comment? Yes?
Yeah, my name is Bruce Whittemore. I'm on Third and Harrison. And just to follow up on that, understand the safety committee, is it something people can volunteer for? And do we know when that is? Because there's not like everybody would like to volunteer for being on that. So how does that happen? How do we find out about that?
You can send a message to the mayor, but the appointments are done.
So there are appointments.
They are appointments. We've reestablished the committee based on the need of the borough.
Okay, but then when there's appointments, are there any way for anybody to attend those meetings that they're having, that committee? Just, I mean, we're out here for everybody trying to be safe, right? In town, we all live in town. It's bad. So yeah, just like, is there any reason why anybody here couldn't attend one of the meetings?
Well, it's limited to the people that have been appointed to the committee. And it's a working committee.
Mhm.
It is not a public forum in the sense of a give and take. The committee members are charged with responsibilities to study several things, and the resolution that created that committee is resolution number 45 of this year. And it gives the committee 5 tasks to perform and report back at the end of this year. So there has to be a structure. It's not a public forum where you can come in and come out. That's why members of the public are appointed, elected officials are appointed, and the police representative. So there is a group of people that are working toward that. And it's really, the comments really should be made to the council, not to the committee. And it is the interaction between the council and the committee and not necessarily the public and the committee. The public's interaction is with the governing body, the people you elect, not unelected officials that sit on a committee. So there has to be a structure. That structure is given in the resolution. The appointments are made through that resolution. If anyone likes to volunteer for any committee in the borough, there's either a volunteer form that the borough may have, I don't remember, but certainly the clerk will take your name and even the person you want to, the committee you want to attend to. And the mayor and council president, and any council member will take your name and pass it on. So it's not that you're being foreclosed from participating, it's that there has to be a structure in anything that we do. And so that is the structure that's been chosen here. An advisory committee to make recommendations to the council, and they're not limited to making recommendations once a year. The expectation of the council is that there will be a recommendation by the end of the year, but they're welcome to make recommendations as you go along.
Does that come up again for appointments?
It does.
Soon, or when does that happen?
It's yearly.
It's yearly.
Or did it just happen? Or?
Yes, in reorg. Right, when did we?
Right,
hear
the resolution was adopted February the 5th of this
So
year.
just happened.
Yeah,
Yes.
we do a
Is
reorganization
there any
every year.
transparency as to who's on that committee?
Yes.
I'll tell you who's on the committee. Okay? It says, whereas the Traffic and Pedestrian Safety Committee shall consist of the following members: the Public Safety Director or designee, Borough Engineer, Mayor, Council President, and Council Liaison to the DPW. 3 residents appointed by the mayor, which shall include Jan Fisher, Holly Lowe, and Jacob Kaplan. A representative from Go Huntington and Frenchtown School shall also be invited to participate but not required to attend to reach a quorum of the committee. That's the members of the committee.
Mhm.
And that is a very similar committee to the one that was created in 2023 by resolution 2023-79. And that resolution is July 5, 2023, and it includes that resolution included 2 members that are no longer participating in it, but it's the same composition.
No, 2 members aren't participating anymore, and 2 other people be appointed.
There were 2 people appointed in those positions.
What I meant to say is 2 new people got appointed in the 2025
Right. Committee.
Committee.
Any other?
So can I just have a quick follow-up, and thank you for offering to provide understanding of what's happening, what's gonna happen, and all the grants and funds that are coming through. That, I think that would be helpful for everybody to know that.
Yeah, we have a lot of new residents in town that have not been here, I think, long enough to see these projects have been in the works for many years, so.
And then just one other point for clarity for myself, I was pointing to this painting right here. I think one of the issues is this, which is one, it's right here. Like, I think that's where the issue is.
Yeah.
Right, that's. what
And there's no crosswalk there.
Exactly.
Okay. Appreciate your
I
humor.
don't know what to do there.
Yeah, right.
When I get there.
Wait, so can we hear from people we haven't heard from first?
Yeah, Marty Howard, 21 River Road, also known as 21 Old River Road. Just a question. Is there any reason that interested parties can't reach out to people on that committee and ask if they would hold a more open meeting? In other words, we've talked about the minimum legal standards that the group needs, but I would suggest, is it possible to say to members of the committee, would you be open to announcing when you're going to meet or having public comments too? If we're looking to broaden participation and get input from more people in the community, then perhaps we can reach out. And again, I don't think I'm asking the question, is there any prohibition to those more public?
Marty, we would love to hear your questions and recommendations for the committee. So the folks on that, the collective, yeah, I think that anyone that would like to give recommendations should reach out to members of the committee or through the mayor as the chair of it. Okay,
Will you indulge me again?
yeah, we also have a second comment period if,
I would like to just get this, okay, thank you. So I'm, as you know, a little bit of a Columbo, always one last thing at the end of the session here. So what I'm gonna say is that I am a part of that committee, and my
Yes.
email address is jfisher@survey.us. I'm friends with a lot of people in here, but if not, Michelle, Hannah, everybody up there, feel free to share my email. I regularly get, and they hear it, anywhere between 10 and 50 communications a month. And I pass along what I get. I will also say that, I asked about a sidewalk from Ridge Road across. I'm that little pesterer on the group there. I asked, I'm asking now about a push button at the three-way intersection. I don't know what's required there, Michelle, but I'm wondering, maybe we can investigate that, hearing what people are talking about. That'd be a nice feature to engage there. I live on 513, so I see those trucks come down, and I know what we're facing, believe me. Regardless of what the data says, I know what we're facing. I will also say that, I would consider closing that Sitco entrance. I would consider, investigating a hard stop there, which I know poses some risk according to the police. Mark Anthony said that would pose a risk of people running down the hill too fast, but I think we have to grab it on the other end and see if we can slow them down. And I do encourage a monthly police report that's shared with the council, be shared with the entire town. I think it could go out as a newsletter in regular emails. I would encourage that. Mark said he forwards one to you guys, and we don't really get it. I think what I'm hearing here is that people are not feeling like they're getting information. They don't really know about it. And to be honest, I didn't know all this, Michelle, when you guys shared it today. And I've lived here since 1967. So believe me, I'm on the council, on this committee, not on the council, on the committee until the end of 2025. And I'm happy to talk to anybody and pass on that information if they can't attend the meetings. I just email, reach out to me, and I don't know how you can get in touch with me, but Hannah and Michelle and everybody up here has my email and my phone number, and I give it out pretty good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah. Yes,
It just, so that's how the law say we must to process this deal, right? It's about this group, we can get the whole information because there is steps, right? So it's the square system, and it's good because we need that organization. I get it. How so possible? How so possible is make a meeting, a community meeting? How so wide you are to make a community meeting kind of workshop? And each one of us, I think we have tons of ideas how we can improve the system. I mean, there is so many brains there, but there are more brains here.
well, we welcome you to join the quarterly town halls that we're being hosting.
A meeting all together, not that by the law, the structure, no. A meeting with a friendly workshop, make a white paper, make a map, and say, well, I think we need this in this point, or in this street, we need a pump, or in this street we need signs, in this street we need a flashlight. I don't know. There could be so many ideas, but work together and support together and make a plan together and make a map, community maps together. How so hard is that? And again, it's not New York, it's Frenchtown. How so hard is that? It's question, always impossible, always it's not part of the law, or we break the law if we do that. It's too good.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. And again,
No, my question is possible? Could you organize as a borough, something like that?
Well, the council president has indicated that there are quarterly workshops or quarterly
hall
town hall
meetings.
meetings.
that we encourage everyone
And
to
we encourage
attend.
Everyone to attend, and you can go to those town hall meetings.
How can I know where, when? I'm sorry,
They're noticed on our website and they're sent on our Facebook page. And if you would like to sign up for the mayor's email notifications, which I don't know if we have the sign up sheet in the back, but you can certainly reach out to our borough clerk and share your email address and get more information. Ms. Stacy.
I'm gonna speak for folks in town if I'm wrong, but on this side of what I consider a fence, there's a lot of tension back here. People just want to help, and they feel like we're getting this, oh no, the law, the this, the that. And so it's just, thank you, Jan. It's something that people really care about, and to the extent we can find a way where people can come together and help solve this together. This is what people want. They don't expect you to do it all. They don't expect you to have all the answers. They clearly want to be part of solving this problem. And the legal kind of mumbo jumbo aside, I'm sure if we wanted, we wouldn't in fact need you guys. We could, if we wanted, we could do it all on our own and bring it to you, but that's not how we want to do it. So I would encourage you to think about if there's even the smallest opportunity, or I think what he's asking is, let's set, instead of the quarterly town hall, a meeting where we come together and talk about some of this stuff. And I know that traffic can be very counterintuitive. We think it might be a good idea to actually create different problems, but this is where coming together, I think, could improve the information people have, feel like they're part of the solution, and actually make your life a lot easier.
Thank you.
So the tasks that you referenced that are.
Your name and address?
Oh, I'm sorry. Susan Lancaster, 49 Cambridge. The tasks that are given to the safety committee to work on for the year, how are those tasks determined? So is that determined through like community feedback of what needs to be addressed, or is it determined by the council, or?
It's determined by what we've heard from the community as well as the predecessors on the previous committee in terms of carryover, because it's not the first year of the committee.
Okay, so maybe is there a good avenue for the community to submit those suggestions? I think that would be helpful.
Through the borough clerk. Through the borough clerk. No, thank you. Any other questions?
Just to follow up on that, when it goes to the borough clerk, it becomes like at work, send something to somebody, it goes into this black hole and they never know what happens to it. I'm assuming that somehow that gets recorded and sent back out.
I don't think you know our borough clerk. She's very. We are incredibly fortunate to have her, and I guarantee you your email won't go into a black hole.
So there's some kind of summary of everything, all those comments that come in. About somehow.
No, the council actually gets the email.
Yes.
Or the correspondence.
Mhm.
It's part of every package that is circulated to the council.
Okay, but then there's no transparency to the community as far as what those comments are that are coming through.
There is transparency. It's a public record. It's part of the agenda. If you want all the backup for the agenda, you can ask the clerk.
Okay.
Like one whole folder in here.
Mhm.
This one's empty, so I was reading some of it, is in a packet that's available
Beautiful.
to us and.
Yeah, it's good for everybody to know that that's available.
Yes. Anyone else?
Yes, but what I'm gonna say is different than.
Right.
Is anybody else talking about?
You need to identify yourself, miss.
So my name is Lauren Shepherd. I live at 815 Harrison. This is probably my third or fourth time. If front of the, committee, concerned about the trapping of animals at Frenchtown Community Garden and the transport of those animals, or the dumping of those animals, into Pennsylvania. As you know, you own the property, which, I don't think you were all aware, that that property belongs to you, and you have a say of what happens there. So the last time I was here, I was told that a meeting would take place, but this is like the third time I've been told that. So my thought is this, is that because you own that property and because you have say of what goes on in that property, you have the ability to say there's no trapping of animals and dumping them over in Pennsylvania. You have the say to do that. So I know the mayor spoke that he was going to talk to John.
Yeah.
But truly, it's your decision to make, about this cruel act that's occurring at the garden. So, I'm just wondering, was a meeting held? Was there any decision? And I just want to stress to you that you're the one holding all the cards to say that this cruel act, should be stopped, signs should be put up there, and the garden should be policed to make sure that the trapping is not occurring. Right now, the traps are still in the garden. I've gone back by there several times to look. It doesn't look like they're being set up to trap animals right now. But as you know,
Right.
the traps are used all year round during breeding season, during, food gathering season. So, I'm just a bit frustrated, that this cruelty is allowed to go on, when you have the ability to make the decision about that. So I'm wondering, has any decision been made about that?
We have not talked about changing the policy, and I can't get
But the
ahead of the
policy-
mayor
The
on.
policy has been determined by the people in the garden.
Right, I understand your point,
Right.
trust me, I understand what you're saying. I haven't gotten a report from the mayor of where that meeting stands. So I hear you on what you're saying about being influential on stopping the practice because we own the property.
Mhm.
So if that meeting is not happening, then maybe we need to collectively push forward and make that decision.
Mhm.
So I appreciate what you're saying very much. I'm sure we'll see each other next month, but hopefully that I want to have a report back for you prior to that.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'd
let's
like,
talk
to be-
offline about that,
At least to
about
be informed
100%.
that something is going on and something's
Yeah.
happening. Certainly before the season.
And we're all very sympathetic for what
I-
you're saying.
I know you are. Thank you
Yeah,
very much. I appreciate that.
thank you, thank you. Okay, any other public comments? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to close public comment? So moved. Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the governing body and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? So moved. Thank you, Councilwoman. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Sam, can you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Dockery?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes. Okay. Approval of minutes. January 29th, we have the minutes before us for the regular meeting. There are two that are unable to vote due to ineligibility. So is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So
Second. Thank you. Oh, wait. Okay.
moved, then.
Thank you, Councilman O'Brien, and the second from Councilwoman Warner. Can you call the roll, please? Sam?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Abstain.
Councilmember Dockery?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Abstain.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes. Okay, the minutes pass. Going on to resolutions. Resolution 2025-47, authorizing a lease agreement with Toshiba Business Solutions for new printers in Borough Hall and the Police Department. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman O'Brien. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Warner. Sam, could you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
Okay. Resolution 2025-48, authorizing a contract between the Borough of Frenchtown and Hunterdon Behavioral Health for employee assistance programs. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please, Sam?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2025-49, contract award to CGP and H LLC to serve as the borough's affordable housing administrative agent. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bernhardt. Is there a second?
Second, Sean.
Thank you, Councilwoman Doherty. Can you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilman Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
Resolution 2025-50, extending the budget process dates per local finance notice, 2024-20. Is there a motion to approve the extension?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Warner. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Updike. Sam, can you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
Resolution 2025-51, appointment of a public safety director. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Madam President, can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Just a couple quick things on the CV, second page. Administrative lieutenant, it says 2017 to present. I'm assuming
It's
that's
not, that's, no,
just a typo.
he's retired. Yes,
because his present occupation is Fiddler's Elbow Country Club.
that's correct.
The only other question I wanted to ask, is there any, in your evaluation of the candidate, did you evaluate his record with respect to any disciplinary actions or other things like that? You know, that would have been part of your evaluation?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
did you identify anything?
We did not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So is there, we have a
Second,
motion and a
yeah.
second.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Councilman Doherty. Is there any other questions? Okay, can you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes,
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
thank you. Resolution 2025-52, authorizing borough engineer to solicit bids for the Ward Street Improvement Project. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Sam.
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes,
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
thank you. Resolution 2025-53, approving partial payment request number 10 from PM Construction Corp. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Oh, give it, oh, you're gonna second it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got that? Okay, thank you very much. Can you call the roll, please, Sam?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes,
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
thank you. Resolution 2025-54, approving budget transfers. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bernhardt, and second by Councilwoman Warner. Can you call the roll, please, Sam?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes,
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
thank you. Resolution 2025-55, authorizing change order number 5 for the Hilltop Neighborhood Sanitary Sewer Improvement Project. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman
Second, John.
O'Brien. Thank you, Councilman Doherty. Roll call, please, Sam.
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes,
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
thank you. And 2025-56 corrective action plan for the 2023 annual audit. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
John.
Thank you. Sam, could you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes,
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
thank you. Moving on to new business, the approval of the raffle application for the Frenchtown American Legion from May 1st through April 30th of 2025. Or 2026? No, 26, you're right.
26.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the raffle application?
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Did you get that, Sam?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes. Thank you. Approval for the Frenchtown Lions Club coin toss on May 3rd and October 11th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, John.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please, Sam.
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
Approval of the farmland ride on June 8th, 2025 through Frenchtown. Is there a motion to approve?
That's the question.
Yes.
What is that?
The farmland ride is,
It's a bike ride.
it's, yeah, that happens annually.
Bike ride, organized.
There would be before.
No, it's in here, it is.
It's right.
Yeah,
It's right here. It's this one.
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
It's the Flemington Jewish Community Center.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So they're gonna be coming through town as.
Correct. And the route is included in the package.
Yeah.
They know around what time and
So we are over here.
actually one week.
Yeah,
That's the river. Yeah, that's.
it's all mapped out here based on when they're expecting.
Something like this. Around now, yeah.
You're welcome. So, is there, were you a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
You said, was it already moved?
No.
Was it, we need a motion? Okay. Is
Okay.
there a motion to approve?
So moved, John.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Councilwoman. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bernhardt? Yes. Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
Okay, there is a request from the FBPA Echo Week Green Fair and tentative 2025 dates. Are there any questions, number one? And if not, is there a motion to approve?
So the dates are Saturday, the 26th. Okay, rain date the 27th. That's,
And we are fortunate enough to have the FBPA president in the audience, should there be any specific questions.
just wondering, you're using the term tentative, so
Yeah, I just figured I'd kind of toss the dates at you as kind of like a loose placeholder, if I could, until I can actually put like park permission in. So that I can actually give you like a full outline of what the event looks like, so I don't have to come up with all that,
sure.
now.
Okay, so but the intent is for it to be on those dates.
Correct, yeah, those are the dates that I'm looking at, actively looking at and hoping to do the events on.
Weather permitting, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If the dates are revised, do they need to submit a new application?
I think it would just be through a communication.
Right,
Yeah. I
It's
think-
probably why you cast such a large net, right, with the dates.
Exactly, yeah, yeah, those are the dates I'm going for, and
Got it.
unless there's something completely unforeseen that gets in the way, those are the dates. And then,
Okay.
you know, I'll just sort of, submit the park use application and sort of the event guideline or outline, as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions,
No,
comments? Okay,
do we need a motion?
we do need a motion.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councilman. Is there a second?
Second,
Thank you, Councilwoman. Sam, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bernhardt? Yes. Councilmember Dockerty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes,
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
yes.
Councilmember Warren?
yes, thank you. We have a request from Secret Garden Montessori flower sale for the date of May 31st, from 8 AM to 2 PM at Old Frenchtown Field. Are there any questions? No? Is there a motion to approve?
I'm sorry. Can we just go back a second? It says, you said that for the 31st.
Yeah, the 17th was not a date that would work,
Okay.
so that's why Sam had talked to the organizers and it was put in for the 31st.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. So do we need a
So
motion?
we need a motion.
I'll move it.
Thank you very much. Is there a second? Thank you. Roll call, please, Sam.
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Dockerty?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes,
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
Yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
thank you. Approval for the River Harvest and Good Folk Project Farmers Market at Old Frenchtown Field on various dates from May through November of 2025. Now, you're here,
I am here.
which is good. I hope that did you see my message?
I did.
Okay, good.
On my availability.
Perfect, okay. So, there are some logistics that we have to talk about with Amanda. Amanda's been before us previously. So if there are any questions, again, we're fortunate that you showed up tonight, that you could talk a little bit about or answer any questions that the council members have. But we are entertaining the application. The market has been moved from Studio Route 29 to Old Frenchtown Fields. And Bill and I have had preliminary conversations with the organizers, along with Director Gantner, and we're gonna do a follow-up for some other logistical things that have to be addressed.
Mhm.
So are there any questions from council on this?
Yeah, my question is, it says insurance carrier forthcoming, so we can grant a conditional approval.
Mhm.
Conditional upon receipt of the insurance information.
Yeah, because I thought we had that, Sam, but I guess we don't, right?
Is it in here? No, I don't see it.
Was that submitted?
Yeah, Amanda, did you
No,
submit
it's still
the insurance?
forthcoming.
Okay.
The reason for that is because our partner, the Good Folk Project, it's a nonprofit, and so they're working on getting their budget together, for, the date at which the farmer's market begins.
Okay. Are there any other things like that that should be included in the conditions or?
And the only thing about the May 17th date, which I'm not sure if this is a note from, okay. We just, the Montessori situation was the same.
Yep.
The Hatch had already put in an application to use Old Frenchtown Field for that date.
Okay.
Because they need it for overflow parking, with Art Yard. Art Yard's doing their, semi-annual Hatch, and that is on that date,
Okay, so that's the 17th?
correct?
Okay.
Okay. So just wanted to flag that.
Are we able to submit an alternative date? And if so, what would the process be for that?
I think if you wanted to add a different date in May, you could do that, if that's what you're looking, so that you don't skip those weekends, because you're at every other.
Right, yeah, so the idea would be to have 2 dates per month for the vendors.
Right.
So I would just need to confer with my partners to see what would be an appropriate alternative date.
Yeah, if you want to use the Sunday versus the additional Saturday, right?
I'll have to, there's last year, something that we combated was confusion about the date and time. So we do wanna make it as consistent as possible, but you know, situations like this, we prefer to have that additional big portion in there, so. I'll just have a chat with them about it and then maybe I'll also bring it up tomorrow.
Yeah, let's talk tomorrow about that. Okay. Any other questions?
I
Yes.
just have one question. I see you're expecting like 400 people to 600. Is that what I read?
I think it's
Each week?
100 to 400.
100 to 400.
She's amended,
Oh,
yeah.
100 to 400. What about parking?
We are talking, that's one of the things that we're trying to hammer out, but with the location, we want to use clearly the parking lot that's there. But also potentially the Frenchtown Elementary School and working with the principal on that.
And something that I had also mentioned in our meeting was, you know, as you know very well, a farmer's market, you know, there's a lot of influx of foot traffic. So the 300 to 400 number is really an estimate for over the course of the entire day, which is 4 hours.
Right.
So, I mean, anything's possible, but I don't anticipate, given this is our second year, that there would be like a mass influx of 400 people all at once. And also, something that we really enjoy about the prospect of the old Frenchtown field is that it's so residential central.
Mhm.
So, you know, we think that will be great for greater foot traffic rather than vehicle traffic, also given that the tow path is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? No? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the application?
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. Councilman O'Brien with a second by Councilwoman Updike. Can you call the roll, please, Sam?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Dockery?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
yes,
Councilmember Warner?
Yes. Thank you. Finally, the approval of the Raritan Headwaters Association stream cleanup on April 12th, which is their 35th year doing this and an annual event. Are there any questions or comments? No? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? Thank you, Councilwoman Bernhardt. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Warner. Sam, could you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Bernhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Dockery?
Yes.
Council President Lee Tag?
Yes.
Councilmember O'Brien?
Yes.
Councilmember Updike?
yes.
Councilmember Warner?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we're on to council comments. I'm just gonna go around the table. So Councilwoman Warner,
I'm good tonight. Thank you.
thank you.
No comments.
Councilwoman Updike. Okay,
No comments.
no comments?
The library's open.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
I know.
And it looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really
Can't
does.
be bad. Yeah.
Good.
No comments, thank you.
No comments? Okay, I gave one of my report backs about the town hall meeting, which again was February 22nd. We had 40 to 50 folks participating in that. Talked a little bit about the improvements for safety. The other thing that I did want to talk about a bit too was updates on the engineering like punch list that we have up at the Hilltop Streets. They need to complete those items as soon as weather improves, then we'll work to close it out. Ward Street Improvement Project, we talked a bit about that earlier with the enhanced walkways. Engineering design is complete and we're awaiting final approval from the New Jersey DOT to go out to bid. We did an authorization tonight to bid the project. And the goal is to bid it in March and make a contract award either next month in April or May at the council meeting, depending on when we receive approval from the state. Included with this project is the crosswalks again, as we talked about. And we anticipate construction to commence in May and be completed by the end of June. South Washington Street and River Road Improvement Project. This is the next DOT funded project that the borough will need to work on after Ward Street, and the deadline for that is the end of 2025. So we're trying to get funding in place as soon as possible, so that engineering design can start and we can, begin construction later this year, say in the fall. And then the Harrison Street project, this is the New Jersey DOT funded project that we just received grant money for. And we are looking to expedite design so that construction can begin while school is out in the summer. And looking to move this along in April, so that it goes out to bid May, June, and then is awarded June, July for construction to be done July, August while school is out. Also wanted to talk about the conversion to Sanico. We sent the mailing out to residents. I received a report back that we were emailing a punch list for them to get out changes for carts based on what people had received, what they were lacking, and if they needed an additional unit or a larger unit or a smaller unit. I've been told that they worked through the list. Anything that would be lacking would be completed this Friday. So again, imploring residents that if you have problems or looking for something else, to please reach out to Samantha, and she and I are working that punch list through. So otherwise, that seems to be going pretty smoothly, all things considered. So
I think it's going well.
mhm.
Thank you.
And
Your efforts, Albert, and your efforts, Council President.
thank you. And the other thing is, again, shout out to FBPA for helping us with Film Ready, which is a project that the borough is working on. And we're pulling in Councilwoman Updike to help as a business owner and also a member of our Economic Development Committee within the council. We are looking at going to a training open house on this program later this month, so hopefully have some details to report back. But we're trying to gather our assets. It may be a weird word to use, but we're analyzing our community, and then we're cataloging what those assets are and sending them to the New Jersey State Film Commission so that Frenchtown can be open for business for location scouts, producers, directors to come in and use our assets in filming. So, or video production. So we're just trying to catalog what resources we could offer to that, because we see that as a means for economic development within the borough. So I think that's all that I have in terms of committee reports back. Anyone else have anything to add? No? Okay. Hearing none, we have our correspondence packet. Are there any comments on the packet? No? Okay, hearing none, we're going to reopen public comment. We do a second public comment on the items that we discussed during the agenda. So again, you know, just please introduce yourself and give your yeah.
I wasn't gonna have one, but now I have. I'm Sylvia Boers, 817 Harrison Street. I live on the first floor. All I see is the Frenchtown field. While I love a farmer's market, May through November, 100 to 400 people with no garbage cans available. They took away the garbage cans that used to be at the, I guess, 8th Street. No.
That's being corrected, by the way. It's on our punch list.
I'm just
Yeah.
raising my hand of 100 to 400 people. It is residential, whereas where it was before, it was in a commercial district. So there's going to be a lot. If you are expecting 100 to 400 people, that's a lot of noise. That's from 7 a.m. to, I don't know what the time period is, but that's gonna impact right on the Harrison Square. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I don't want to be a naysayer, I just would like to know what is being done to
We,
embrace it.
well, we actually had conversations about noise, knowing that it is in a more residential neighborhood and they're not going to have live music. And please speak up, Amanda, but there's not gonna be having like bands or live music or anything like that. That would create a constant noise disruption to the residents in the area.
But the trash for sure is.
The trash is gonna be carried in and out by the vendors that are participating in the market.
And those people that are also attending need to be taken into consideration, because there's cigarette butts there all the time too, and these people who come and park and like that's where they're allowed to smoke, I guess, so that's, you know, and they leave it all there.
Mhm.
So I'm just, 1 to 400 people is a little threatening to me.
Sure, and I understand that on paper, and that's something that we have discussed. Again, it's not fixed numbers, so it is an influx. Last year was our first year. In the back parking lot of Studio Route 29. And, you know, we weren't keeping track of how many people were there all at once, but observationally, I'm obviously one of the founders and the market manager, so I'm there from start to finish, every day, and right now, the dates are the first and third Saturdays of the month, except for, the month of May. But, you know, observationally, I can't, you know, there's probably no more than 100 people there at a time.
It is 6 months span though, too. It's long.
Yeah, and it's meant to be an asset for the community. Sure. And which I heard you voice, so I wanted to underscore that. It's not, you know, a word was brought up in our meeting. Michelle had mentioned, oh, so it's like a festival. And I immediately corrected her, just to make sure it was understood that the idea of the farmers market is a community event where the whole mission is to expand access to local sustainably farmed food, and also provide a platform for local vendors. So it's intended to build community. Last year at Studio Route 29, we actually installed a whole garden. And we didn't have any live music. On occasion, we had a DJ for special events. This year, that was not something that we've scheduled. We might do that. But we have discussed, is it the chief of police, Mark, is that?
Director Gantner. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're not used to seeing him out in a 3D person. You only saw him in a box. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was something that was brought up and is absolutely a concern for us too. You know, I live in Frenchtown and you know, I'm not interested in noise pollution. And so again, well, those were the considerations going into the question mark of music.
Again, it's a very residential area. Right?
Exactly.
And it would be like my backyard, so it would be a weekly or bi-monthly event in my backyard for 6 months. So you have to see why I'm being a little sensitive about.
Sure, and again, you know,
It's also not going to be in the entirety of the field. It's going to be in one section, which is closer. It's closer to the parking lot, sure, but it's not down at the soccer fields, which is closer to, you're in the apartments, right? We're gonna keep it up where we would use for the parking for special events and things like that. So it's not gonna be so massive that it's all the way down there. We don't want damage to the soccer or baseball fields that are there. So.
and also the hours of the market are tended to, it's not super early mornings. And then, you know, again, the idea of having it there is so that there is hyper access to residents. So we hope that you will come and be able to take advantage of this community asset. And that's why we wanted it in that location so that you can walk out,
your back door. We had several residents who actually live in that complex comment that last year, they weren't able to make it over to City Route 29 because they have young children. I have a friend who's in his 80s who lives in that apartment complex, who just had surgery and he barely would leave his house, a very social guy. So to be able to offer something of such high value that appeals to the entire community at such close proximity is actually by design. And again, want it to be an asset. We're not there to be a nuisance to the community. And if there were, any sound, noise issues, I'm always very open to any types of dialogue. So I would give you my.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna be I just wanna bring up, I know the garbage cans were missing and you might need some porta potties and.
So there's a porta
It's
potty
the summer.
there and, we also are bringing, additional vessels.
Right.
That, we're farmers, so we're used to hauling literal crap around. So we'll bring in the vessels and we'll remove it, for each market date.
And if there are concerns, please communicate with us as
Sure.
well so that we can help you.
I don't wanna
Get
be
through
this
that.
immediate, no, but I heard, I was like.
Yeah. Well, we were like that too, and we're like, we need to talk to Amanda.
Yeah, that number really.
So scared us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but thank you. Are there any other public? Maggie?
Maggie, I didn't know that farmer's market was an improved use of that land, so I think that's really interesting. I know for a lot of other efforts to use that land, and maybe it's because it would involve a change of use, there had to be like public resident input and stuff, so this feels very different from a lot of those.
We've had a history of, like, there was a green fair that's occurred there. There've been the National Night Out. That, yeah. So.
But, for other folks who've like wanted to do productive things and build assets for the community there that have not had such a great reception. I know that there was supposed to be some like soil testing because there was concerns about contamination, and I thought that that had already been conducted, but I haven't seen those results. Do we have those? Are they public?
No samples were taken. That wasn't, the investigation was a ground penetrating radar investigation.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
what happened with that?
The engineering firm is issuing a report for the work that they have done. And we have to finalize the review of it.
So that's why Bill didn't have anything to report back, because we need to do a meeting with all the parties involved to come up with a report. You know what I mean? To come up with the report back to the community.
It feels like it's been just languishing for so long.
It takes time.
There was correspondence with the LSRP, licensed site remediation professional of the site next door, and the New Jersey DEP site remediation requirements. And then through the borough engineering firm, a licensed site remediation professional is representing Frenchtown for the review of historical documents that were presented and the concerns of contamination. So it is a back and forth.
And an
between
ongoing
professionals.
investigation, really. Yeah.
With the professionals.
And so in the meantime, we're comfortable with like people using the
Yeah.
area, just.
You can use the field. The field's not been closed down.
Yeah, it was a subsurface.
Right.
Below the ground concern. No direct contact exposure.
Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, hi, my name's Wendy Darcy and I live at 200 Town Road. And full disclosure, I'm neighbors with General Fisher and work with us who are also on the state streets, just getting involved in that part of it. About a month ago or more, I just happened to be home when the tractor trailer was trying to make a K turn from Milford Road in front of my house of Frenchtown. You can imagine that. So he took out part of my neighbor across the street's yard and part of my yard. He wasn't able to make a K-turn, it's impossible too, so I went out and told him to go straight. That made me think that I should get a ring camera. So I got a ring camera.
A ring.
So I'm right on the road and I understand that the roads were originally meant for horse and buggy. So the cars and trucks were right on the next my property. What's funny is that the ring camera picks up tractor trailers as people and notifies me. So like my watch is always going off. So I guess my first question is, where are all the tractor trailers coming from? I mean, like, why is this a route? I don't know if some of Frenchtown has so many tractor trailers going through it.
It always has,
I don't,
It depends on where they're going.
yeah, I don't, right.
but it always has. I
That's
mean.
why we had the
Yeah,
truck
I
route.
just- I'm wondering if
That's- We have a truck route, if that's your question. It's
called. the
ev-
truck route.
yeah,
That's a truck route.
it is from 78.
78?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that, because,
Yeah,
so I'm just being alerted by my brain about that, because I'm a home driving day. So it's curious, and that's all, that's my comment on that.
no, thank you, thank you. Any other comments?
Amanda Extra, yeah, I wanted to clarify on the approval, does that also extend to the request to waive the temporary concession fees?
No, we are gonna talk about that tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay,
Great, thank you.
okay. Anyone else? Well, thank you for coming out tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn? Someone, thank you. And Assemblywoman, Councilwoman. Thank you, Councilwoman Updike.